Hey everybody, JB back with you once again, and welcome to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. When we last left off, we discovered something very interesting. Our defendant slash star witness for the latter day of this trial, Sister Iris, is actually Dahlia Hawthorne, which we were initially thinking. But then we found out that Iris and Dahlia are two distinct people, twins. But then we also found out that they swapped places during the earthquake yesterday. When Edgeworth lost track of Iris, Dahlia basically took her place. So now the question is, where exactly is Iris? What is Dahlia trying to do? And who is channeling her? Because she's supposed to be dead, right? If someone is, I'm suspecting it's Maya. So let's get on with it and find out what's really happening here. Also, we discovered what happened with the flying person. It ended up being somebody swinging across the bridge on a pendulum with the rope. The dead body of Misty Faye, where, from what we could tell, it seems like Dahlia, who is on the side of the inner temple, set up this contraption and swung the body over to the other side where Iris, I guess, picked it up and then desecrated it with the sword, the Shishido. So, I don't know all the details yet, but we're going to find out, I think. Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness? Yes? How can I help you, Mr. Judge? Well, it seems that if we're to learn the truth, we'll need to hear your testimony. I have no problem with that. But when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown. I feel like we have not seen that portrait until now. We saw it at the end of the last video, but I don't think that portrait came up at the end, the first trial of the game, or the fourth one. In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night. Alright. The plan. Interesting that she's coming forward now. I mean, I guess we kind of cornered her, but curious if we can poke holes in this. The whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fay would first have to die. The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. Okay. So that means you really are... Wait a minute. Did you just say the plan was to kill Maya Fay? Yeah, Phoenix, that's obviously what has to happen in order to have one of Morgan's daughters be the next master. Yes, you have a problem with that? Well, yes, I have a very big problem with that. Don't give us that nonsense. There's no way that... Watch yourself, trite. If you've got a problem, solve it during cross-examination. That's one of my rules. Don't we always? Mr. Godot is correct. And by the way, that's one of my rules as well. Hey, don't give us that nonsense, Judge. You try to obstruct our cross-examinations and speedily end the trials early. We've seen this way too many times. To kill Maya? Could it be true? Yes, Phoenix, it has to be true. There's no way it's not true. Alright. Oh, that's right. We're low on health. I forgot about that. We're going to have to look up stuff here. I'm going to press everything and we'll figure out what to do from there. You were executed last month, correct? Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant. How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay? Last year, she was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her. I see. So that's when you discussed the plan? Ha, are you crazy? At first, that woman was planning to kill me as well. Even though I'm her own daughter. All to make Pearl Fay the master of Khura'in? She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor. the honor she lost when her younger sister Misty took her place as the master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan.
A plan, huh?
Take a shot every time someone says the word plan. Actually, don't do that. You'd probably die. Oh, we already read that. You're talking about Pearl Fay, is that correct? Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us. You and your twin sister, Iris. That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father.
Abandoned?
The only person I ever really cared about in life was myself. What? Really? My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple. Really? So that wasn't just a decision she made, like you just pressured your dad into making her do that? You mean Iris? Yes, my father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? And on top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general.
How horrible!
The really horrible one was that woman. That bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fay. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power. Unfortunately for her. Morgan Fay heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back. Speaking of which, where is Morgan anyway? Is she still in jail? Don't tell me she's here channeling Dahlia. All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family. Maya would have to die, but why? For our bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master. The remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of. But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya. How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master. That's all. That's ridiculous. She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter. And naturally the life of Maya Fay as well. How could anyone do that? You? You were going to kill Maya? Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was to follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. Then I would have simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead, and there's nothing any of you can do to me. Grr. So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger twin, on Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. She and I look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it. And the witness in this case was a head nun, Sister Bikini. So, wait a second. Did Dahlia dye her hair brown? Or maybe that's her natural hair color. But basically, did she change her hair after the incident with us, where she got arrested? So they were identical? I never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night. But she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway.
But why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she?
Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her. Backstabber? Yeah, I'm really curious about what Iris actually did, because she seems to regret something. You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway. This is the last statement. You think the plan was a success? You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped. Maya Fay is dead. Now the title of the Master will pass on to Pearl Faye. That's absurd! Maya's just... she's just trapped! Trapped inside the sacred cavern. Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you? My darling Feeny. Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your sniveling naivete and your pathetic faith in other people. I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Faye's plan? I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of. If that's how you feel, why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya? You may not understand it, being the kind and gentle soul that you are. You may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that. So then tell me, why? Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. Really? Because I feel like you two are way more alike than you care to admit. I only act in my own self-interest. That's exactly what she's doing. I mean, yeah, she says that she wants Pearl to be the next master, I guess, but she's really doing it for herself, let's be real. The reason I helped her was for myself. And what does this do for yourself since you're dead? For my own personal satisfaction. What did you say? So this woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead? Do you understand why I would kill Maya Faye now? What my goal was? That's a new statement. Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Faye. Helping? Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. I lived for myself, and in the end, I died for myself. I thought that was obvious. So she wasn't actually cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan in her plan so she could accomplish her own goal. All I wanted to do was kill Maya Faye. That was the only way I can think of to get revenge. Revenge? I mean, the only thing I can think of at this point is that in the earlier case when Mia bested her in the trial that started this game, she declared that she wanted revenge on Mia. So, since Mia is dead, is Maya like the next best thing as far as getting revenge as an option? Like, that's the only thing I can think of. It looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. I've got to keep a cool head. And I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan and what she was after as well. Okay, so we've looped around now, so it looks like we have to present a piece of evidence. What is the piece of evidence, though? We still have not used this. I am wondering what's up with this. I feel like we used that for the Pearl Psyche Walk thing. We used that earlier with the sphere and the staff thing. Yeah, I don't know. This is, and it's a piece of evidence, which suggests that it's not a profile. So here's the question. Is this relevant, the fact that there's this talisman here? Because if Morgan wanted Pearl to be the next master, would that just be laying around in the snow? Like, wouldn't she have ordered in her notes to get that and claim it or something? Like, it just seems weird that that would be laying around. This seems to be the most vital piece of evidence right now. I don't know what this really proves, though. I mean, all this proves is that Morgan Fay had a plan and that she wanted... She wanted revenge. So, I don't know... I'm gonna have to look up the answer here. Like, I don't know. This is really odd. Okay. Oh, we do have to present a profile. Okay. That's a little misleading. We have to present Mia's profile, so it is what we suspected. Could it be that your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself? As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore, because I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either.
You wanted to take revenge on someone?
I was sentenced to die because of that woman, Mia Fey. I somehow knew this was it. Okay, so it is as we suspected. I just didn't realize that the evidence was a profile. That's kind of a little weird, but okay. We kind of wish Phoenix did not say anything about evidence, because that's kind of like, when you say piece of evidence, that implies it's an actual piece of evidence. I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain that she made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up. And the reason it was impossible... Whoops, inactive window. Was it perhaps because Mia Fey had already died? Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take revenge against the dead.
And how do you do that?
Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on. Forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my revenge against Mia Fey. That was the reason I helped out with that woman's plans. Just for that? For that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fey. Yeah, exactly. They're basically the same as far as, like, what they're out for.
As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What a cruel plan. Cruel, cold, and heartless.
Don't waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you, there's not a thing you can do to me.
Grr.
That night, at about 9:30 p.m., I materialized into this world. I quickly pinned my hair up and put on a demon-warding hood. Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left Hazakura Temple. So, it was Elise Donimu who channeled her after all. Oh. Why would she do that? Have we established this before as a possibility? I don't remember Phoenix wondering about that. Was that mentioned before? I mean, maybe they hinted at it at the very, like, start of the point where we knew Elise was actually Misty, but I don't remember that. So why would Elise do that? Was Elise planning on channeling her because she knew about the plan, and then she was like, well, I'll just lock myself on this side so I can't do anything over there with Maya, and no one else can, like, Pearl can't do it, or no one else can do it. Like, was that the reason she was trying to create, like, a block so that no one else could channel her? That ridiculous head nun never noticed a thing. Wahahaha! She left Maya Fey at the inner temple, and wobbled back clutching her poor old back.
What did you do then?
That kid was easier to handle than I had hoped. I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern, and I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom, and... So then you're saying you stabbed Maya. It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that.
What does that mean? No clear memory?
I don't know. I think I was stabbed. Wait, what?
You were stabbed?
At the last minute, Maya Fey must have stabbed me. I'm sure of it.
That's not like her at all. Maya wouldn't stab a French fry with a plastic fork.
Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness. But before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back. I hoped it would cast suspicion on her. I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end. That's where my memory temporarily stops.
It stops?
I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own two hands. So wait a second here. If Dahlia was channeled by Elise, then the dead body of Elise was temporarily channeling Dahlia, and that's why we have all this stuff about potentially seeing this fight out by the stone lantern like she was mentioning earlier, or is that all a lie? Because obviously something happened by the stone lantern. So, in fact, I'm pretty sure that's where the murder actually happened, given what we've learned. So, at that point, was Dahlia being channeled, and then Maya or somebody stabs her, and then she leaves the body of Elise, and then it's like, oh, Elise is now dead. Is that what happened? My very last memory was that face. Maya's terror-filled eyes. I feel like that's kind of weird that Maya would look distressed like we saw her, and then suddenly her facial expression changes. Like, there must have been something prompting that, right? Like, it sounds like they were already fighting. I mean, yeah, she mentioned taking out a dagger, but it's not like that adds, like, more life-threateningness to the situation, unless she didn't already have a weapon, I guess. It feels like there's more to this. When I woke up after that, I was in the sacred cavern surrounded by darkness.
You were in the sacred cavern?
The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow I had been trapped in there. But how did you wind up in there? I'd like to know that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Fey was dead. And I swore I wouldn't return to the other world until I knew I'd killed her myself. For a ghost, you're one tough cookie. I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out. The trick lock stopped you, huh? I didn't know how to remove it. So wait a second. The trick locks were on the outside though, right? So how could you have removed it to begin with?
So then you're saying you were actually confined against your will inside this sacred cavern?
I'm beginning to wonder if Maya went in there and channeled her to keep her in there. Yes, I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible, but it wasn't easy. I kept getting interrupted while I was working on it. Interrupted? It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall.
What? Who?
Could it have been Maya? I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see. Why not? If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge. So I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the sacred cavern. That morning, only 2 people could have gone into the training hall. Maya and Pearls. Pearls went there to cover the hanging scroll in gravy. Still, I finally managed to remove the lock. But I was too late. What do you mean by that? The flies had already started to gather. The bridge had been fixed and the police had started their investigation, correct? Naturally, I couldn't go out, so instead, I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on myself. I realized I wouldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped. But just then, Lady Luck showed up. Lady Luck? You mean the earthquake? After that big earthquake, she showed up all by herself. Oh, right. The real Iris. She said she'd come to make sure the sacred cavern was alright. Stupid girl. I came out from the sacred cavern and got a feel for the situation. And I locked her away in my place. So you were the one who put the 5 locks up. I had finally learned exactly what had happened. It was then that I learned that the plan had actually succeeded. What do you mean your plan had succeeded? I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one that had summoned me, I had assumed that it was Pearl Fay.
Well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written in the instructions.
But I was wrong. The person that had actually called my spirit back was... yeah. Misty Fay, the picture book author.
What?
Well, that's really the only possibility, isn't it? It could have been Maya, too, right? After I lost consciousness in the garden, it was her body that was left lying there. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we basically speculated that earlier. I'm so used to hearing the judge, like, bang the gavel and go,
Order in the court.
after that happens. Maya Fay. I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all. But even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit.
And that is?
Matricide. The sin of killing her own mother. Ugh. No way!
Order! Order in the court! What is the meaning of this?
It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Fay. But even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Fay's life was none other than your darling little Maya. Ridiculous. That's nonsense. Are you sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there?
What?
What do you mean? Don't tell me it's the blood writing on the lantern, because you planted that. What is this so-called evidence? The fact that Maya Fay has disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it? Huh? The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple. That much is obvious. In that case, there is only one place she could be. My theory right now is that she's the one channeling you.
Where?
Do I have to spell it out? The bottom of the Eagle River, where else? Oh, I doubt that. Eagle River. Maya Fay killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into the Eagle River. Most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever. I don't think Maya would do that. So what do you have to say now, Feeny? I think there is still a third party involved here, for one, because Maya looked like she was shocked to see something during this encounter with Dahlia / Misty at the moment when Misty / Dahlia lost consciousness. That seems really suspicious. And two, I think Maya is channeling you right now. Ooh. Ugh. That sounds familiar. Oops. Sorry, that's my phone. What kind of ringtone is that? It's his theme song, Phoenix. Godot here. Okay. Thanks.
Was it something important?
Yeah, that's really odd. They just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern. That's great! What about Maya? There was a woman in the cave.
Was it Maya Fey?
It was the accused, Sister Iris. Huh? Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just finished telling you that. So, what about Maya? Where is she? There was no one else found inside the sacred cavern. No, it can't be. I told you, didn't I? She's dead. No. No!
It seems that this case has come to an end. A tragic end.
I refuse to believe it.
Sadly, it appears the killer of Elise Donim, also known as Misty Fey, was her own daughter, Maya Fey. Overcome with guilt for what she had done, Maya Fey jumped to her death into the raging waters of the Eagle River.
It can't be. Ha. Trite. Have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Thanks, Sherlock. No matter how improbable it may seem.
What is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godot?
According to this witness, Maya Fey threw herself into the Eagle River. However, is that really the truth? Exactly, thanks, Godot. Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden. Which means if Maya had thrown herself into the river, it must have been from the inner temple side near the bridge. That's right, that's where she jumped from. But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there. But I don't think that precludes the possibility that she could have jumped, right? Like, I don't think that's proof of that, right? Don't get your panties all twisted up, Trite. Just relax and think through the whole thing again. So it's impossible? Maya couldn't have thrown herself into Eagle River?
Well, Mr. Wright, Miss Hawthorne claims Miss Fey threw herself into the river from the inner temple side.
Do you have any evidence that refutes this claim? I do think that... Aren't there, like, rocks over there? Yeah. I'm going to guess it's this. Let me just double check real quick. Okay, yeah. It is that. You could also present the photo of the bridge, apparently. It's impossible to jump into the Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness. What did you say? 11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliff on the inner temple side is a big rock shelf.
Oh! Ooh! You're right!
She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, we should be able to see her body in this photo. Oh, right, I forgot we took this picture afterwards. Okay, yeah, so it does eliminate that. Ah! What's wrong? Ha. So you finally figured it out. You... No! I'm gonna be so satisfied if Maya's actually channeling her right now. Order! Order! You're just playing with me. Yeah, how does it feel? Maya Fey's body is at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding. Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Yeah, it's just a few minutes ago. Maya Fey wasn't inside the sacred cavern. We now know that she didn't throw herself into the Eagle River. Correct. That eliminates all the most likely possibilities. Now, although it seems improbable, there's still one other place she could be.
What? What is this one possibility you were talking about?
That's obviously a bluff. So where's her dead body then? Finally, I think the pieces are falling into place. Normally, the living have no way to punish the dead, but I think there's a way to give Dahlia the Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya is this very instant? I'm not even going to look up the answer. Maya Fey is in this very courtroom. There's only one possibility left. Namely, she's right here in this very courtroom. What? Maya Fey is here?
You say she's here in my courtroom?
Dahlia Hawthorne, I seem to recall that you said, I had misunderstood one thing, you see. So what? But I think there's one more thing you misunderstood. What do you mean? Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne? Finally! Yes! Why, that's obvious. It's Pearl Fey, that pathetic little sniveling runt. You're wrong. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it. I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened. Isn't there any explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit? It could happen if someone else was already channeling the same spirit. Someone called me before Pearl did? But who? Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime, but she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clearer to you right about now, am I correct? Ah! It wasn't Pearls that channeled you. There was someone who called you before she could. Alright, I'm going to look this up because I don't know if they're going to trick us and put Misty as the answer here, but I think it's Maya. Yeah, it is. This is an easy one. Pearls couldn't do it, and Misty Fey is gone. There's only one possibility left.
Come on already. I can't stand the tension.
Dahlia Hawthorne, the person channeling you right now must be Maya Fey. What? What?
But how could that be? Remember what this witness Dahlia Hawthorne said about her goal.
She said that her goal was to kill Maya Fey.
Yes, that's right. But if Maya channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her...
Ha. Well, Gramps, what would happen?
Could it be?
It looks like you finally understand, Your Honor. Well, I don't. What are you going on about? What I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you. And there's only one reason. To protect herself from you. To protect herself from me? Yes. On the night of the crime, you were only interested in one thing. Killing Maya Fey. The path back to Hasakura Temple was closed off, and there was nowhere for her to run. So then the problem became, where would be the safest place to hide? Ah! You mean, that's when she channeled me? All this time you thought you had been channeled by Pearls. That's why it never occurred to you that Maya's hiding place was you! No, don't say that! Whoa! Okay, that's a portrait. You're saying that Dahlia Hawthorne, was played for a fool by that little whelp? Maya Fey killed herself. Isn't it obvious? Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into the Eagle River. This was the only avenue of escape open to Maya. The only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple. I don't believe you. A stupid little girl like that who has never been out in the real world. She could never have come up with a plan like that. Who could have ever given her such a brilliant idea? Well, me, of course. Mia! Mia Fey! It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. So wait, Pearl just suddenly showed up next to us there? Because she certainly wasn't there at the start of this segment. So it's true. It was you. Yes. Ha. Here's something else. But what? What are you doing here? That hair. It's Pearl's, right? Oh, so hair isn't affected. So I guess... Okay. Well, no. Wait a minute. Yeah, I guess Maya's hair is brown, yeah. Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You had just cornered Maya in the Inner Temple's garden. And then, in the final moments of the fight, you lost consciousness. I was stabbed by Maya Fey. Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you. She did.
Not terribly surprising since she was about to be killed.
When she woke up, she was in the training hall. That's when Maya decided she needed help. So she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do. She did that? I can't believe it. Of course, I didn't have all the details. But one thing was perfectly clear.
And that was?
I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free. Free? What do you mean? It was a race against time, so I wrote down 2 things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived. So it was Maya who put that lock on there.
Yes, but why did you order her to do those 2 things?
If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fey. Pearls? Yes, Pearl didn't properly understand the plan, so all she was trying to do was follow her mother, Morgan Fey's, instructions. If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly. So that's how it was. Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Fey to kill Maya at all costs.
Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along.
How dare you! I won't forget this! Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure! Yes, another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? What do you mean by another? Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes? Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure. What? How dare you! 11 years ago, the fake kidnapping, your very first crime. You got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but after Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed. Shut your mouth! That wasn't my fault. It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman. And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but you wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny. You! Wipe that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face. And now this! You've messed up again! You let Maya Fey escape, even though she was right there in front of you. Grr, grr, ah! Mia Fey! Mia Fey! Mia Fey! Mia Fey! You spinster! Is that supposed to be an insult? Because I feel like that's a pretty weak one. I was supposed to kill Maya Fey like I swore I would. And if only you hadn't gotten the spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death. True. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. What? What did you say? Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you will never defeat me. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all of eternity. Grr. 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 I remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said there was no way we could punish you, because you were already dead. What about it? Then you said, even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on. Forever. That's very true, Dahlia. And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all of eternity, you'll have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne, a miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. And for you, there is no escape from that, no hope of freedom. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you has burnt to a crisp. Ooh! You're wrong. It can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you? It no longer matters. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya's body right now! Oh my. I'm not ready to go! Well, too bad, because I think you're going. Nick, sis. Aww. Poor Maya. Now then, I assume you are the real Iris? Yes, I was just rescued from the sacred cavern. Oh, so that was Maya, and then now Iris walked in since Godot received word that they got her. I must say, you and your twin sister are indeed identical from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. I can think of one thing that hasn't been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne? If you ask me, Your Honor, it looks like she went back to the hell she came from. It seems that Misty Fey wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Fey, as well as the young Pearl Fey, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan. Yes, Your Honor. The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems. Is this the first time we've heard it called that? Because I don't remember that name. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again. I agree. Your Honor?
Yes, what is it?
About this whole spirit medium thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now. Yeah, same here. I like how, like, accepted this has been now as part of the world here.
Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to study up on the crime channeling technique.
Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult?
I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench. And in all that time, I've finally learned this one thing. Each case is different and takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first we have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ.
Never thought of it that way. Wow, the judge is actually making sense for once.
At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
Oh? Godot? What's up? You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot?
This trial, it isn't over yet. That's what he means. What? Trite. Remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony? Huh? Dahlia's testimony? I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, who really killed Misty? The person that was ultimately killed was a spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. At least Donim. No, Misty Fae. But, who killed her? We still don't know who did it. This isn't over? Until someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk until there is evidence that proves her innocence. No way.
But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony.
The prosecution is ready to call her final witness.
Final witness?
This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Fae.
Indeed.
Is it really alright, Mr. Prosecutor? Of course it's alright, Madam Attorney.
Very well then. Who is this final witness?
Ha! Isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole event and will put the final dagger in this case, so to speak.
Someone who saw the murder take place?
The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes. You mean Maya? You can't. She can't testify after what she's just been through. I don't think he cares. We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Fae to the witness stand.
Very well. But first, we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Fae to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with the trial.
Hey, Trite. I've got something to say to you, so listen up. What is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to just squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you. You've got some nerve. But that's not going to happen this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself. What do you mean by that? Like, we can't have Maya being channeled through Pearl standing next to us? Like, can you stop that?
That's enough. This court is now in recess.
Okay. Oh, I feel so bad for Iris. She seems like a really nice person. I'm truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me, but I was missing all day and we didn't even have a chance to talk. She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they had already switched places, and Iris was inside the sacred cavern. I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on. Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I had to ask you. Why did you help out your sister as much as you did? Yeah, we haven't quite uncovered all of that yet. Huh? If you had tried to get help at the Sacred Cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there. My sister, I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by her mother and never got any love from her father either. Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it? Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. If only Dahlia had come with me to Hazakura Temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about a thing. That's why I promised her that I would help her. Are you talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago? I guess back when we learned about this, we didn't know Iris was involved. Yes, I wanted to be useful to her in some way. But, as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute, I ran away. So is that why she calls you a traitor? Because of that, Dahlia's stepsister Valerie ended up... That was the case that wounded Mia so badly. I feel like Valerie was still going to get the short end of the stick even if Iris helped. But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder. Some people? You must mean... Yes, 2 defense attorneys. Mia Fey and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to learning the truth. Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison for her. You. That's right. So you knew about that too, then. Iris, there's one more thing that I have to ask you. Yes, what is it? On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Elise Donim, was it really you? Yes, it was me. That night, after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone. There's a problem. Come to the Inner Temple right away. I got on the snowmobile and headed for the Inner Temple. But... path to the Inner Temple was cut off, right? Exactly. We can't just leave the body here. So you've got to do this exactly as I say, got it? Who's calling her? It was me. I was the one that received her body. The murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't bleed too much. The staff that Mystic Elise always held. I knew it. So the actual murder weapon was the staff. Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to Hazakura Temple on a snowmobile. But why? Why did you alter the body? I didn't want anyone to know that the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Faye. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with a Shichishido. I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground. Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone. The real killer. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it. But, like, if you don't, you're going to be executed for this, right? I see. Victim staff updated in the court record. Has a sword hidden inside. The actual weapon used to murder the victim. So who would she want to protect? Is the question. Defendant. Yes? The judge is calling you. He wants you to see you in his chambers. He wants you to see you. Shouldn't that be see him? He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne. Alright. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you. Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me. So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning. Phoenix. Mia! How is Maya doing? Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case. I see. You don't mean she's learned who Elise Donim really was? Yes. I went to the medical office and talked with her. I told her everything I knew. But why? Maya is stronger than you think. I knew she could take it. All of it. What do you mean by that? I want you to figure that answer out by yourself. The trial's about to restart. The real killer. Do you know who it is yet? Iris wouldn't tell me who called her, but still. I think that just maybe I know who it was. Yeah, I have a feeling too. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the Inner Temple. And the criminal wasn't just there by accident, which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning. And one more thing. The victim was moved to the Hazakura Temple side by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck on the Inner Temple side for almost an entire day. Exactly. So the culprit was someone that wasn't in the Hazakura Temple the following day. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win. Or lose. Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally. It's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see anyway? And who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me. All by myself. To be continued. Alright, everybody. Well, this has been quite a journey to get here. But in the next video, we are going to finally conclude this trial and the entire Ace Attorney trilogy. So until then, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. So take care, and I will see you then.